to Teal House Farm. Yeah. Well, let's see here. It looks like yellow. Does it look yellow to you? Maybe not. Finally got light bulbs in this. A lamp above us. It's been down to one light bulb forever. And I went out, finally, remembered to get light bulbs at the store. But I must have gotten, not white ones. You know, soft white ones or whatever it is. I must have gotten a weird color. And this is just your screen. So, excuse me. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm just making sure that we are up on Facebook for people to find, and we are, so we're good to go.
This December, Super Chewer is wagging in the holiday season with the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer box. Experience the Yuletide fun of this Christmas season.
Sorry. How do you turn this? What? How do you turn this? Your laptop, I can't get it to mute. Your laptop, I can't get it to mute. Your laptop, I can't get it to mute. Thank you. It just kept popping up a weird screen every time I hit that. Okay, now we're ready. All right, sorry. We're using a different laptop than we usually use, and it's different. So, let's see. Arkansas Preppers here and watching a video with Sam called Morning Chores from 6 years ago. Moral of the video, do not buy a dark green water hose. Yeah. He either runs it over with a lawnmower, or I run it over with a lawnmower. That happens a lot. Or we think it's a snake. I don't know why they don't make garden hoses. Maybe they do, that are neon colors, so you can see them really easily.
I go and buy one.
Do we have one?
I don't know if it's in that video.
Oh, in that one? We don't have one anymore. The one we have now is green, but...
Yeah, no, I eventually went and bought one.
Let's see, Lois is here. Welcome. Radine is here. Welcome. Tammy. Hi from Alabama. Thanks for joining us. Radine is from Utah, and Grammy is here. Thanks for joining us, Grammy. And Empty Nester ×5 is here. How's everyone doing? We are doing great. We've had a super busy day. Becky is here from Louisiana and Angela from Tennessee. People from all over the country. Awesome. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, today was a super exciting day, and it'll be up tomorrow. Sometimes I vlog in a weird order. So on weekends is when I tend to do a lot of the canning and the cooking stuff. But sometimes I'll get 6 videos recorded in a weekend, but then I don't want to do 6 canning videos in a row because y'all are going to get bored. I'd get bored. We want variety and content. So sometimes the video you watch was actually filmed 2 weeks earlier, and sometimes it was filmed the day before. So today JJ had a special day. It was her turn to get to go on a trip with Mommy. So we did that, and part of her trip was we went to the Dollar Tree because we wanted to see if we could find some inexpensive Christmas decorations. We don't really have anything other than ornaments that we put on a tree. Never really decorated the house. So I didn't want to spend a ton of money, but I wanted to get something because this year we have a little extra because Sam started his new job. Yay! And the girls are always asking if we can decorate for the holidays and have some things out. So we did that today. But then we also got some packages in the mail with some Christmas surprises for the kids from some viewers. So they are all just they are so excited for Christmas right now. They wanted to decorate the whole house, and then we got all that Christmas stuff in the mail. They are full on Christmas mode, and we had to tell them, gotta wait a few weeks. We're not gonna put the Christmas stuff out quite yet.
I know Halloween's over, and they're boom, straight into Christmas.
No,
skipping Thanksgiving.
We don't have the tree yet. I told them we'll decorate the house when we get the tree, and we're actually gonna go chop down a tree this year and then get a real Christmas tree.
We've never had a live one, so we're gonna try that this year.
We've had a fake one for a while, but we can't really store it in the basement because the basement gets wet, so it gets stored in the mudroom. But the cats decided to make it their home. It's so gross, so we had to throw it away. And so we decided this year we're going to get a real tree, which I always did growing up. Did you ever get a real tree growing up?
We did 1 year, and it did not get watered nearly enough, and it just
didn't make it to Christmas.
It made it to Christmas, but it just made the biggest mess ever. And my dad likes a clean house, and so he was like, "Yep, we're not doing that again."
We always had them growing up, but Grammy is always very on top of chores that need done when it needs done, organized person. So our trees always did well. Let's see, True Joy is here, Phyllis from Kansas, and Beth is here from Illinois. Welcome everyone, and Rosanna from Rhode Island. in Arkansas prepper. Yeah, thumbs up. If you think about it, give us a thumbs up. It helps us in the algorithm a bit. But we don't want to go cut a tree, right now, because it would definitely be dead by Christmas.
Yeah, and there's actually, because we live, the town we live near is kind of a what's the word? Touristy kind of town. There's actually like 2 or 3 Christmas tree farms, like literally down the road from us, and most of them don't start selling till after Thanksgiving.
But here's a question for people who have bought a Christmas tree. Nobody lists prices, and I just want to be, like, from what I've Googled, it looks like most places charge per foot, like how tall your tree is, which makes sense. But I'd be curious, like, what would you expect to spend on a like a range? Like, it's between
whatever
80 and 150.
Do you think they give you options on, like, the variety of
types of tree?
Types of tree.
I remember that growing up. They had different types, and Grammy never wanted, I think it was fir trees, because they have the, like, real long needles, and so they're really hard to clean up. I think that's right.
Tell us if there's a variety you do or don't like.
Yeah, Grammy, tell me.
New. We're brand new at this.
Yeah.
We do want a fragrant tree, though, I think.
I think so, yeah.
The girls were asking about that. They're like, are we going to smell the tree? So we want to, I think we want to try and find one that has a good Christmassy smell to it.
And how tall are the ceilings? Is it 10-foot ceilings here? So you get like a 8-foot tree, and then you have room for your angel on top?
Yeah. Our problem is we are able to have a tall tree, but we don't have a lot of room.
The ceilings be tall, the doorways be skinny.
So whenever we've bought a tree, we've always gotten like a thin, tall one. We don't get one that's super, super wide, just because it takes up too much space. If the house was a little bit bigger, we would probably get like a rounder one, I would say. But we just kind of get one that looks like a pencil.
Yeah. Let's see. Kathy is here from Ohio. Welcome. And Angela says we had a real...
Katie.
Oh, sorry, Katie.
Ohio.
My glasses are on my head, so they aren't reflecting, so I can't read that far very well. We had a real tree when I was a kid. It had spiders that had...
No way.
Nope. Hashtag no.
Well, I don't know how you prevent that, because they're going to be so dense. How do you look through your whole tree?
I can't say we ever had that happen that I remember.
Grammy says a
Fraser fir is good. Okay, have to remember that.
Well, I don't know what they'll offer out here, if it'll be different from the East Coast, or maybe it'll be the same.
It's going to definitely... the kids are so excited. It's going to be fun, tromping through.
Well, and most of those places have, like, hay rides and things like that.
It'll be a fun family experience.
We might be able to do something like that with them, too.
Yeah, so I think it'll have its stresses,
but
I think
would love that?
Who?
Pat.
Oh, he's going to
He
think
loves
this is so cool.
tractors and trucks and things. It's kind of funny. Like, he's a boy, obviously. But it's not like we have a lot of equipment around here like that he just gets to
mess around
on. He absolutely loves, like, trains, trucks, tractors, like, infatuated with them, which it just kind of cracks me up, because he just, like, naturally... Yeah. Maybe he was given a couple of toys like that, but he loves them.
Yeah, this is maybe for his second birthday, he got a couple little, like, he got, like, a digger toy and a dump truck toy, but, like, growing up, he only really, when he was little, we only had girl toys. We didn't really buy him any toys, because you were in school, we didn't have any extra monies, but he still, even with all of the girl toys available, he only wanted ones with wheels, like the Barbie cars. He would push them all over the house. Yeah. He wasn't interested in any of the other stuff.
He does like dinosaurs too. Yeah. Those are his other favorite toy. Angela says, yes, we got rid of the tree. Did we say hi to Veronica?
Veronica's Hello? Here. No, I think we missed that. And Katie says this is my favorite time of year. So
I do like the fall.
We are enjoying
the Christmas.
It went from summer to winter.
Be right back.
Can you put a decaf on for me? There should be a decaf one. Summer to winter for like 3 days. We're just like running the wood stove, and it was cold out. It was so cold outside. And then now we've had a couple, like, what it feels like it finally decided to be fall. Like, chilly in the morning, but nice in the afternoon. The kids can go outside and play, but it's not super hot. Mm-hmm. So that's been nice. But the garden is dead. So that was it's always fun to see, I guess. Like, you get your first frost, and first thing in the morning, the plants still look kind of okay. And you're like, oh, maybe they're going to make it. But then by like 3 or 4 in the afternoon, they're all just like dead. So everything in the garden is dead. And we rushed it all in, had like a bajillion green tomatoes still. So, I mean, I've canned sliced green tomatoes. I canned salsa verde. I got a whole bunch that I've ripened on the counter. I've probably ripened close to 5 pounds of green tomatoes into red tomatoes just sitting in a box on the counter. And then I've frozen those, and I want to make pizza sauce, but I'm not really in a hurry to do that. So that'll happen. But we made green tomato coffee cake for breakfast this morning to try to use up the green tomatoes that were left. And that was halfway decent. It tasted kind of like a zucchini bread. But I still looking here on the floor, I still probably have 15 or 20 green tomatoes. And I hate throwing things away. So they're just going to sit in this box. So we'll see if they ripen all the way. But some of them are kind of small. So I don't know. We might end up tossing them in the compost pile. But let's see. Jepco is here. Hello. Angela says, I covered my tomatoes and they made it through the frost. Yeah, so that's definitely an option. I always just, when it's going to frost, it's like when I'm like, all right, I'm good. Like, I'm done. Time's up. And you get kind of the weight off my shoulders of having to take care of the garden. We still have the greenhouse, but the greenhouse is really small. And once the greenhouse is locked up, like it is now with plastic, the water doesn't evaporate. Obviously, because, it's plastic, it locks the moisture in, so you really have to water it like twice a week. So you're really very low maintenance, as long as you make sure that you do water it a couple times a week, and make sure that you just kind of check that the door is really closed when you leave, because I've made that mistake before too, thinking the door was closed and it was not all the way closed, and then a bunch of cats got in there and scratched it all up. So only make that mistake once. Let's see. Katie says, I second fireplace wood stoves. Love them. Yes, we love our wood stove. The biggest, there's a couple downsides, like people who ask us about, heating with wood, because this is our main source of heat. If you have a really nice wood stove, if you can spend a bunch of money on one, you'll get a stove that can burn really long and burn a lot. So you don't have to fill it all the time. This one is pretty small. And this was like the manager's special at Menards. Like when we bought this stove, that was like we bought it on like clearance. And it's not like a name brand or anything really. It's a pretty cheap one, and it was even cheaper.
It's super, super basic.
It doesn't do anything fancy. And so it needs to be stuffed every 2 to 3 hours. And on really cold nights, it has to be done around the clock. Like, you have to get up and you're going to be cold in the morning.
You don't have to stuff it every 2 or 3 hours, but you do have to try and stuff it and keep it running super hot when it's like 5 degrees outside, because this house isn't insulated very well. Mm-hmm. We don't have to stuff it quite that much if it's not ridiculously cold.
And so if it's the middle of January and you want to go somewhere for a day, like you're going to come home to a cold house, and that kind of stinks. So that's probably the biggest downside.
Yeah, if we had a little bit, if the house was insulated better, I'm going to turn this just a touch.
Okay.
If the house was insulated a little bit better, and if the stove was a little bit nicer, it wouldn't be as big of an issue.
We were talking this year about maybe getting a new one because it needs new fire bricks. And we were a little shocked at the price of fire bricks. It was over $200 to replace the fire bricks. And we were like, well, if we're going to spend, $200 something, do we just want to spend more and get a nice wood stove for the future, and something that we don't have to stuff all the time. But we decided against it. We're just going to replace the fire bricks.
Oh,
they all came downstairs.
It might be a little loud here for a while.
They're all.
Let's see. Did we say hi to Jepco? Yeah, I think
welcome. And Angela said, "Oh yeah, I may have missed it though." Let's see. Arkansas Prepper says, "Put an aspirin in the water tray. It helps to keep the tree green. Blue spruce in your area is popular." Okay.
We'll have to look. We'll it'll probably be, what we'll do is let the kids kind of decide what tree they like, I would imagine. As long as we might help with the shape of it to make sure it's not too, like, we can't have a 6 foot wide tree or whatever. But but let them choose one that they think is nice and
Are you
smells
gonna be
good.
like the dad in the Christmas Story where you haggle and get the rope thrown in for free?
Nah, I'm not that. Oh, okay, we're okay. I'm not that type of person. Let's see.
All right, Allison Sanders
Allison's
says,
here?
"Well, hello, I'm late. Well, welcome. We're glad you could join us." And Veronica asks, "How are you enjoying work?"
I like it. Yeah, I enjoy it.
You got to deliver a teeny tiny baby the other day. You were talking about that.
Well, I didn't deliver
Well,
it,
you
but I did get to
hold it for a
stand in.
second.
No, I stood in the corner and watched. It was a C-section. Baby was 1 pound 3 ounces. It was doing great, which is just like they had the NICU team there, you know, and they're preparing for the worst, and then this baby came out and was doing amazing. So that was I mean, that literally felt like watching a miracle to see a baby that's like this big that was doing great. Like its oxygen saturation was great, its heart rate was great, it was loving life. It's still like I really enjoy, again, like I've said this a bunch of times, but I really enjoy the people I work with, and I enjoy the patients that we have, and I like labor and delivery. It's still one of those things. I was telling my preceptor, I hate not being able to just be helpful. And a lot of times when you get into an intense situation,
They kick you to the back because you're the.
I just don't know what
Yeah.
the next step is. And if I know what the next step is, I would do it and do it quickly. Like I enjoy working hard and I enjoy being helpful. And so it's frustrating to me to be the last person in the room to know what to do or how to do it or to do something poorly. I hate that feeling. I want to do things right and I want to be really helpful, but I'm still super slow and don't know what's going on half the time. But I'm getting there. Slowly but surely, I'm getting there.
You said one of the hard things is that there's a lot of different. Like you'll attend like an unmedicated birth, and there's certain things you do for that. But then you'll have somebody, very different types of births, and they all have different protocols.
Yeah, and sometimes it's just like the luck of the draw with the patients that you get. Like we'll get a whole bunch of recoveries. So we'll get a whole bunch of ladies that have just delivered, and we do the recovery. And so we'll do that like 2 or 3 times, and I'll be like, oh, great. Like I kind of feel like I know what we do here. And then the next night, you won't get any recoveries. It'll be like all admissions. And so you work on those. You're like, okay, like I think I have these down. And then you won't do that for like 3 weeks. And you'll just get a patient that's like laboring or something like that. And then it comes time to do an admission. You're like, well, this was 3 weeks ago. And I kind of forgot the 150 steps it takes to admit somebody. Anyway. So it's just like repetition. I just got to do it a whole bunch. But I do enjoy it. It's really rewarding. And sometimes it can be frustrating. Like we had a patient Saturday night. Like that patient and myself, we worked really hard to try and get her to be able to deliver her baby the way she wanted to, and she ended up having to get a C-section. It was just really disappointing because they were really nice people and they worked really hard, which is kind of funny to say. Honestly, we have some patients where you go in, you're like, okay, we need to move this way or whatever. It's going to help your baby either descend or like help with heart rates. And they'll be like, yeah, I don't want to do that. So like she was up for anything. She really was. She was a very motivated mama. But after all that work we did all night, she still had to have a C-section. And mom and baby were fine. So that was afterwards. Like they were great. But it was a little disappointing that we put in all that work and it didn't happen the way.
Yeah.
Everybody has like that perfect picture. You're going into labor, you're like, oh, it's going to be like just like this. And I know it's disappointing. They were first-time parents, too, that it doesn't work out that way. But mom and baby were healthy. So that's the most important part.
Important part.
Right.
J and B say hi, welcome. Charlie and Judy are here.
Hello.
Thanks for joining us. Veronica says it'll all come in God's perfect time. Yeah, and it's just like you just need to put the hours in. Like I think, it's just something you just can't
do it over and over again.
Learn it all in one day.
Yeah, so I'm slowly getting there. I just want to be like a valuable member of my team. We kind of sit in these pods, and I have to be told what to do on a lot of stuff. But I'll get there. I get there.
And JB says, please hit the thumbs up. It helps channel. It does. If you feel like hitting those thumbs up for us, it does help us out a little bit. Okay, so anyway, I also want to talk about Sammy here. Started a project today. Didn't quite go as
I've
planned.
got a couple. I
I
did complete one project.
Oh, which one did you do?
I cleaned out my barn.
Oh, the barn looks great.
Yeah. I got to clean the outside of it now, but
spent the last year trying not to vlog anything inside the barn other than the stall, because it was just the cats had gotten in there, and anything that was on a shelf had just been tipped over and knocked, and like the wood pile they just like knocked all the big sheets over, and it was
I don't know how they do it as like a 10-pound cat, how they knock some of that stuff over.
You couldn't you couldn't walk through the barn without stepping on stuff. But it was one of those things, like there are already 8 million things that have to be done on the homestead and in the home and with the homeschooling, and you were working and going to school, so you couldn't do it, and it was not a priority because it's the barn, not the house, and so but you worked really hard on that the other day.
I did. I will say it's not perfect, but you can at least walk in there.
Oh, it's so much better. You can walk through the barn.
Yeah. It still needs... There's a couple of piles of stuff that needs to be kind of organized and maybe some more stuff thrown away. But it does look a lot better. But yeah, I did have another project I was going to start.
But we have a what do you call it? It's not like the pump. It's like...
It's like just your...
extra hose out in the middle
like
of the
your
field.
Hydrant.
Yeah, out in the middle of the field.
I guess that's what you call it.
It's never worked since we've been here, but it would be really nice if it did work, because it's right next to the chicken coop. It would mean no more hauling water for the chickens, and if we did get like a cow or a larger animal where we want a large vat of water out in the field, it would mean no having to haul water out there. So it's something that we've wanted to fix for a long time. But anyway, you came to me and you had the little pieces. You're like, that's what it needs. And all I thought was that Shania Twain song, where she goes, and there ain't no way.
Yeah. Well,
20 minutes later, that didn't fix it. So we're still working on that project.
They have like a spigot down in the basement that feeds that. And if you open the spigot, it doesn't have a spigot as in like coming down into the basement, but the spigot just unlocks going to that hydrant out in the field, and that spigot leaks when you just open it up to send water to that hydrant. But the problem is with where that spigot is, they literally have like 4 different types of pipe connected. It's like 3/4 inch, 1/2 inch, and then some like plastic PVC, all in a space of about this big. Like just
Farmer Joe went through his barn and was like, I think I can make this work.
I feel that, because there have been times where I don't have money, and you just like, you put things together with what you got. So I understand that. But it's like right where it goes into the basement wall too. So it's going to be a little tricky. Like there's not a lot of room to work. So I'm going to have to cut it all off and try and put it in the right way. Like it still needs some kind of a shut-off valve for it. But we're gonna have to put in something that works a little bit better.
So would that spigot be less likely to freeze than a hose in the middle of winter?
What that spigot does, so the pipe that runs down, it has at least one, maybe a couple of, they call them weep holes, like 3 or 4 feet down under the frost line. So after you're done running water, you shut it off, all that water leaks out underground slowly. And so it shouldn't freeze. And we'll put a bucket or something over the top too to keep it from getting...
Keep the handle from like freezing and stuff. That'll be really nice to have.
But I'm going to have to get a little creative. My problem is there's so many little pieces connected. I'm not exactly sure what I need. So I told Laura I'm going to have to like shut off water to the house take it apart and then figure out how to fix the problem, because it's really like rigged. it's a special, like, it's only like 8 inches worth of water line. So anyway, that's gonna be a project, but I think yeah, it'll be really nice to have.
It will be really nice to have.
For sure.
Not that chores take that long right now. I mean, it
No.
takes like 5 minutes, but the hose, like the spigot where the hose comes out, freezes every winter, even if you detach the hose. And so then you have to haul water from inside the house outside. And it's just
We've
one of
done
those
that
things that's
before.
just like, it's just obnoxious. Is it a big problem? Like, not really, like, but it's just annoying. Especially because our sink is too small to fit a 5-gallon bucket. So then you're like filling a jar to fill the bucket to bring the bucket outside to the chickens. So let's see. Veronica says, how are you feeling pregnant wise, Laura? I feel pretty good.
You're just tired.
I'm just
most
really
of the
tired,
time.
and I was telling a friend yesterday, like, they invited us to go do something, and I was like, no, most of the time I'm up for it, you know, but it just takes a lot of energy to take all the kids somewhere, and I don't have the patience level I usually do, and I was like, I just don't see this at this point going well. So we've been busy the last few weeks, but it's kind of winding down to staying home more because I just don't have the sustained energy all day to take everybody somewhere unless he's coming too. It just, you know, parenting with young children, it's 120% all the time. Like, all the time. You can get away with 100% in the house, but if you go out in public, it's 120%.
Gotta be on it.
Oh man, you gotta be on top of it all the time. And so I don't have the energy for that. So
I will say the nice thing about this job, this nursing job, is you do get to like somewhat self-schedule. And so we were just talking about that. Pretty soon I'll be on my own and can kind of self-schedule. So it can really, hopefully it will really help us out once baby comes. I can be there for all the kids, like extracurricular things. That Laura
well, it's
doesn't
been
feel like she
even
has to
now.
do it
Like
as
right now,
much.
you're not really self-scheduling because you're still working with like another person who's helping train you. But like just only having you work. I mean, I realize 312s is still a lot of hours, but because they're always clustered together, like you've been able to take, you know, like you're going to take the kids to gymnastics class tomorrow night. Like I've been doing that by myself for several years. It's just nice to be able to be like, oh, he's going to take 4 little people out of the house. You want to say hi? And I'm just going to hang out at home.
You got dinner on your face,
Come here.
brother.
What do you need? You want another snack? All right. He's getting away with murder because we're busy. Just eating all the snackies. So.
Arkansas Prepper says, cats knocking over some boards is better than a mouse in a house. That is very true. Between the cats and the chickens, they just about ruined our barn as far as messing things up. But yeah, I hate mice in the house too. We had a serious mouse problem.
Let's pick something not messy. Can you pick something else? Maybe some gummies? When we first moved here? It was terrible.
It was horrible. Mice everywhere.
It was disgusting.
But we've solved that problem.
And our dog does an excellent job digging up moles.
Yeah,
but it destroys the yard. But I don't have any moles in my garden, so I don't know which one's better.
I say, was that? Oh, I think that was I thought I saw a light, but I think it was a reflection from the living room. Yes, very much true. Oh yeah, I hate mice in the house. What else were we gonna talk about?
Do you want to talk about your other project that you were talking about, or not really?
I can. I have an old. I have 2 things. They've just sat around for forever, so I decided I'm gonna sell them. Try and fix them up just a little bit and sell them. We have. They're actually 2 really cool kind of homesteading items. But I don't know. I don't want them anymore. We've got
We just don't need them. Like,
I mean,
we could use them, but
use
not
both of them.
Not for what they're like. It'd be better to sell them and have the cash for other things than to keep them. I feel.
Yeah, we've got a Gravely 2-wheel tractor, which for a small homestead is kind of like gold.
But you've only used it once or twice.
I used it like for a couple of years. I used it more than once or twice, but it was just for a couple of years. But it's you can ride behind it. It's a 2-wheel tractor. That's what they call it. You can ride behind it, and I just have the brush hog attachment for it. But it can basically have any implement that like a regular tractor has. Obviously, much smaller. But I think we're gonna end up selling that. And then we have another kind of cool homestead item. It's called a simple pump. And if you have a well on your property, it takes a thin, I think it's fiberglass, a fiberglass straw, I think is what they call it. And it can go, you replace your the well, like, whatever the top is, not the head.
The cap?
Maybe it's the cap, whatever. And this thin fiberglass straw can slide down next to your regular, like, well pipe that you have, like in that casing. And if you have your power go out or anything, they have a pump, like a hand pump that goes on it. Or if you want, they actually sell like solar or motor driven pumps. So if your power went out, you would still be able to have water out of it, which is actually really cool. And it pumps, you'd think, like, because it's such a thin, like, kind of straw.
Isn't it a gallon?
No, it pumps, I want to say, if you have the motor, it pumps like 7 to 10 gallons a minute, something like that. What a lot of people do if they think they're gonna use them is have it pump to like a big catchment tank kind of thing, and then you can suck water out of that. But anyway, it's really cool. And I found a guy that was selling it used. It is missing a couple of parts, but I've got that. I can't remember how many hundreds of feet. I want to say maybe have like 200 feet of the pipe, like the straw. But anyway, we've never used it.
We just had it in the barn. I think we'll just sell it. We bought it. Gosh, when we like first moved here, and we were like, oh yeah, we're gonna go off grid, and that was gonna be how we were gonna get water.
Well, it was a great deal too, honestly. Even though it is missing a few parts, like I can't remember, and it's even more expensive now. If you want the parts for a simple pump, you can look them up. They used to have it, so that was probably like 8 years ago. If you wanted all the parts for, it was like a 200-foot well, it was like $1,500 or something like that. This guy was moving, and he had his well out in the front of his yard, like in a subdivision. It was the weirdest thing. It was super nice subdivision, big houses, and he literally had a well in the front of his house. And he was selling his house, so he took the simple pump off because he thought whoever was buying it wouldn't want it. So we got all the pieces, well, most of all the pieces, for like a couple $100.
Yeah, it was a good deal.
It was really,
but
really
then we
good
just
deal.
we've never used it. So
I think I'm gonna sell the pieces that I have. Maybe make a little bit of money. It's just been sitting in the barn.
We'd rather than have things that sit in the barn that we don't use than sell them and then put it towards projects that we know we're gonna do, like with the animals next year.
But I do have to get that little Gravely tractor running.
It's been a little bit since we used it.
It's been a little bit, so I'm gonna get a battery for it. It just takes a small battery, and I might.
Ouch. What you need, babe?
I know last I used it, I ran all the gas out of it, so that part is good. Like it doesn't have bad gas sitting in it or anything. But I'm gonna have to try and get it started.
We basically had it because before we didn't have any animals out on the pasture, and so it was just crazy grown over, and so he mowed it down. We
had a neighbor that had this little tractor, and he was
was
trying to sell it, and he gave us a good deal on it, and we used it for a summer or two. But
now that the whole pasture's basically fenced in, and we rotate the sheep and everything through it, like don't really need it.
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing we have to cut is right up against the street. No more for you. You've had two. Here you go.
JJ. We're probably gonna have to go soon.
We're running out of battery here, but I think those two projects, we're excited for the spring. We've already been looking at chickens. We're gonna order them. We've always had to wait until basically tax refund time to order our chickens, to have the cash on hand to order chickens. So
Why
we couldn't
do we eat chickens?
because we like eggs.
We want more.
So we never really got what we wanted to get, because by the time you order in March, a lot of them have already been pre-ordered or picked over.
The other thing is too, you go all summer
without
just
any
feeding
eggs.
them without any eggs, and then about the time they start laying, then it's like October. or whatever.
So we want to try ordering in January.
Mm-hmm.
And we have like the heat lamps and stuff. Like we can keep chicks.
Yeah.
We're not really concerned about that.
Yeah.
But we're gonna be able to order them early. We'll be able to get what we'd like to get, and have them ready to lay by the time summer rolls around. So we'll be getting a lot of eggs. So it'll be really nice.
It'll be fun, and we're gonna. I think this time around too. I mean, we're not gonna obviously force them, but we're gonna try and give the girls make it kind of their project. I think it'll be good for them. The older girls.
The older girls. I think they did. I mean, they helped a lot with the sheep when they were babies. Yeah. They really liked that. So I think they'll like the chicks. And they helped with the little... We didn't have very many chicks, but they helped with them this year too. So, and it's a little less dramatic because these aren't chickens that we're going to eat that they're going to help with. So they can name them and keep them. So
yes, that's very true.
Keep them. So, but that's kind of the plan to get... So we get animals earlier. I think we'll get sheep a little bit later. We got them early this year, which was nice because they were butchered in September. So now they were done, by the time I was super pregnant. But I think we're going to get them just a little bit later for probably like a November butcher. I just think just with weather, it'll be nice to have getting them more in like March than in February when there's nothing for them to eat. Right. You have to feed them out a little bit at the end in November, but I think the price will come out about the same. But it'll kind of help. Like you'll have like your spurt of chickens, and then it'll be break some sheep. So
yep.
The older girls will be great helpers, just as they do in the house. Yeah, they're always good helpers, and when the kids help, we feel like when the kids help with the baby animals tend to be more friendly.
That's very true.
And that helps too, even though they're the sheep, we stopped having them help with the sheep, and then they were kind of hard to catch, but
well, it's just because we didn't bottle raise the last ones. That's true. The ones we bottle raised, those sheep they follow you into the house. Those sheep loved people. This last set we didn't bottle raise though, they were just mama raised, so they were literally wild. They didn't like people at all. I literally had one of the sheep try to jump through a window when I was trying to catch it.
In the barn, not in the house.
In the barn. It was spastic. I thought it was dying. I mean, I guess it kind of did.
We were taking him. He knew.
I guess so.
But we would like to get we've been talking about getting a small trailer this year too, since we're going to raise more large animals, and that way when it's butchering time, like a week or two before, you just pull the trailer up to the barn and you feed them in the trailer. Just leave it open. And that way it's like a happy place to go in.
Smooth operation.
It'd be much easier than trying to get them in kennels into the van to the butcher.
We'll just have a trailer, we hook up to the truck, and away we go. Super easy.
Trying it. One day we're going to sell that van. People always say like, well loved or, gently taken care of. That thing has been pooped on by sheep and goats. It's had the kids throw anything you can imagine all over it.
All of our vehicles,
they just
are treated like farm trucks.
Yeah.
When it comes to because I don't know. I feel like you have to use your vehicle sometimes as like a homestead vehicle, whether it's getting hay or I don't know. It just always works out that way with us. It feels like so.
All right, we're gonna have to sign off because we only got like 3% battery left.
My phone's gonna die.
But thanks so much for joining us. We enjoyed talking to y'all, and we'll see you again really soon.
Yep. Everybody have a good and safe week. Bye.
See ya.